I have invented a weapon that not even G.I. Joe can withstand. Bullets! Let's finish the game. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today, let's take a look at the last of the Hasbro's G.I. Joe classified series with Destro. I think I've done a G.I. Joe review every week for the past 5 weeks. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Snake Eyes was a little bit before, but I kept telling myself I'm going to go to eBay for one more. Okay, one more. Oh, one more. And finally, I have the whole wave, except for the standard Snake Eyes, which I'll eventually get because I still have a case on pre-order because of customs and everything else. I need doubles and extras and damn it, G.I. Joe. Looking at the package, it's definitely different from the rest of the wave because Destro is our only enemy, our only bad guy. But we still have the blue on the outer package here, window showing everything that comes with. This very, very nice art down here. In fact, it was this art that finally made me realize, oh, his collar is the Cobra logo. I'm that guy, yeah. Shut up. G.I. Joe logo, Destro, Hasbro. On the side, that art again just blown up. That's all you need, right? I mean, it's Destro. There's no denying it. On the back, the art that has been shown since the line was announced, it shows characters and cool and ships. And on the other side, we get what we've come to know as the new style file card for this line. Like the Joes, it gives you an idea of what Destro specializes in. On the top, the Cobra logo. He's number 3 in the series. On the bottom, all your legalese, your warnings, barcode. But let's get this open and see just how much 80s goodness Destro is. Yeah. Oh, there's the warning sheet. Making sure to let you know, don't put it in your mouth. And this time around, the insert has a big old Cobra logo on it. And then if you want to clip the file card, you can cut that off too. The Fwoosh will return after these messages. And getting the titanium face turkey out of the package, it is so nostalgic feeling. Sure, it has some updates, but for the most part, it's pretty damn close to what my mental image of Destro is. It has all the beats: the black jumpsuit, the red rockets on the wrist, the red collar, the gold chain with the ruby on it, or jewel, or whatever the hell that is. But getting past those, you have updated sculpt, kind of modernization, but it's not armor plates and gold. It follows the same path as the vintage Destro. At the boots, you don't really have laces or straps. It's some kind of technological, something that you would think Destro, having the means he has, would go, well, I don't have to lace boots. Give them to me. There are knee pads, but they're not sculpted all crazily, and the color scheme fits in with the rest of the figure so it doesn't stand out at you. In fact, this brownish gray color for the boots, the knee pads, and then it comes up and ties into the padding of the upper body. But you get to the gauntlets and the belt and it's silver, which comes back to, well, I mean, it's not chromey silver like this, and this isn't even really chromey, it's just a shiny silver. But taking all of that into account, nothing stands out at you. It looks like a clean, classic design. Overall, using about 4 or 5 colors if you take away the gold of the chain. Getting up close, you can see detail work like piping added to the pants just to spruce them up a little bit, along with the wrinkles. There's also piping up at the torso, along with that padding we already looked at, but there's also a texture in there. The arms fairly clean. You can see, once again, a pipe running down here. It makes me feel like it's crooked half the time because the pipe runs to the inside of the arm, so I think, oh, I'm not lining it up right, but I am. The biceps straight, but the piping goes off a little bit. That's not a gripe, that's just pointing something out. Nice, simple rockets here on the wrist. Last resort, I would think, because the blast just comes, you know, down the arm. Maybe that's why he wears the mask. The holster is a little bit bulky, but I don't know. With the rest of the figure being as clean as it is, I don't really mind that sticking off like that. Pouch sculpted in here, I guess extra ammo, something. Then the holster to hold the gun, a few strap details sculpted on, and then that goes all the way around the leg. Very tight there too, and the strap runs up to the belt, which is a separate piece from everything. So you try to pull it down, the holster wants to push it up. The holster essentially has full control of what the belt's going to do. If you want the belt to ride low below the waist, pull the holster down and that'll keep that there. For the most part, you gotta kind of straighten it out. But if you want it to ride high, push the holster up, push the belt up, and that kind of hides the waist joint. Same thing on the back. Little piping, little texture. I love the padded look to the top. And that also works its way out to the elbow pads. But I think we can all agree that the defining factor for Destro is the silver head, or the mask, or however this works. He would talk and the mouth would open and stuff. That's not how metal works, but again, G.I. Joe Fantasyland. Instead of going with a smooth look to the whole thing, they did add some sculpt work in there. There's an oval right here that works back to a square on the back of the head. These seam lines running up and around. And you can see a little bit of that to the face too. But for the most part, the lips, the nose, the eyes, even if it wasn't painted silver, you would go, oh, I'm using that for a Destro head because it looks just like them. And another cool thing, which I don't know if I can catch, well, maybe right there, they did give him some bluish white pupils. Maybe this picture will show it a little bit better if I got the picture to come out. But that's an awesome little detail that's hard to see with the naked eye. I had to get my magnifiers out and actually see what's going on. Once again, I don't know the reason for this. The rubber diaper around the plastic crotch piece. Maybe they can swap it out while keeping the internal workings going. I don't know. Maybe that allows for the plastic inside to be thinner to allow more leg movement because the rubber piece kind of gets out of the way. Oh, you know what? Looking up close here too, there's also texture to the legs. Just all kinds of subtle little details that work to make the overall piece just even better. Zoomed the wrong way there for a second. But as awesome as Destro is, he feels, at least compared to the rest of the figures in the line, slightly hindered. I will say the ball at the waist doesn't seem to have as much movement as the rest of them. It's very tight to turn, but it doesn't give a lot of forward and back. A little bit of tilt, but not as much. The bicep sculpt kind of gets in the way of elbow range. And word of warning, the up and down hinge at the wrist out of the package, ooh, the detents were tight as hell. And that's the little gears inside to keep it in certain positions. I had to pull the hand out and work it loose, but be careful because the peg in there, let's just pull it. I'm trying to avoid it, but I'm not going to be able to. Very, very thin. Kind of reminds me of the Power Rangers wrists. It's loosened up a bit since I've been able to move it back and forth. Stay the course, there you go. The size of the opening compared to the thinness of that peg, it feels a little bit gummy because it moves around in there. That's not the hinge right there, that's the peg flexing. Kind of wish it was a ball joint, but at the same time, I love up and down hinge on trigger fingers. Also, I usually don't care for toe joints, but as articulated as this line is, and you kind of want to get them into kneeling poses or different things, I kind of wish there was toe joints in this line. That's one of those joints I usually don't use. I mean, lately, like import figures, it doesn't bother me that it's there, but I don't use it a lot. Oh, and I forgot to point out that he's got some silver steel toes down here. Again, tying all the way back up to here. Going over articulation, there is a hinge, and let's see, G.I. Joe's easy to pop heads off. And if you don't care for the gold chain, as iconic as it is, you can pull that off now. It's just a separate piece. There's a ball, there's a hinge, and then there's a ball joint at the bottom, but because of that studded collar, it gets in the way. You can get some tilt out of it, but not a lot of forward and back. Taking the necklace off, he looks naked now. I can't stand it. But all that together can look up, looks down. Oh, Destro's got some tilt. Swivel. Butterfly joint at the shoulder, little bit tight. So you get some back, you get some forward. Hinge at the shoulder comes up past 90, swivels around. Rotation at the bicep. Double elbow, like I said, the bicep a little bit thick along with the gauntlets down on the forearm. Just crash into each other. A little past 90 though. Talked about the wrist, up and down hinge, swivel. And while I mentioned the waist ball joint doesn't have a lot of forward and back, the hinge in the mid-torso more than makes up for that. So crunches forward, arcs back, ball at the waist, forward and back a little bit, more tilt, mostly rotation. The hips are on a drop down joint, so you can bring it here, forward, back, out, ooh, all the way. I did the left hip just to show you. The holster, the strap, doesn't really get in the way, so you can do all that with the right too. You're just gonna have a lot of belt action going on. Move the hip back up. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee. Oh yeah, easy. Boop, 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 boop. Good thing his ass is made of rubber. He's kicking it all day long. Swivel at the boot. Hinge at the ankle goes back, goes forward, and then forward facing pin for some rocker action. For accessories, he comes with a small gold pistol, and I like that it brings a little bit more gold into the overall design. It's a cool little sculpt, kind of revolver-esque, but it's still sci-fi-ish. I have noticed that you have to stretch out the trigger finger a bit, and then try to get the gun in before it flexes back into position. But you can get the trigger finger in. And that's not bad at all. Makes some kind of a Bond villain, though. This will probably go in the holster and stay there for the rest of its life. Because he also comes with a bigger blaster-type gun. Molded mostly in black, a little bit of red to it, and again, it's that sci-fi feel. But Destro being Destro, this may be some high-tech weaponry. He turns the knobs on the sides, it cranks up the killing power. And while the vintage Destro did come with a gun slightly like this, I've seen some people comment that this looks much more like the vintage Xamot and Tomax's gun. So maybe a little bit of hint for that. No trigger guard, easy enough just to put in the hand. And then he comes with this nifty little suitcase with an awesome Cobra logo sculpted on the side of it. The top is painted red. The bottom just has the black telling you which way it actually opens. When you open it, down inside, it kind of looks like missile controls or something. It's got a screen, it has a keyboard, another Cobra logo down in there. And then strapped into the top of the suitcase, I'm assuming money. You can't get bills much more unmarked than this. There's a couple snaps, and I've noticed you kind of push up on those, the suitcase just opens up. Boom. But he can also hold the case very nicely.
I bring gifts, Cobra Commander.
Destro stands at about 6 3/8 inches tall, which makes him a little bit more formidable, being taller than both Snake Eyes and Duke. But not quite as big as Roadblock. Still taller than Scarlet though, but we all know she can kick his ass. Here he is with the Star Wars Black Series Stormtrooper and Black Panther. And every time I think the G.I. Joe line is not in scale with Hasbro's other lines, this brings it back around. And for no reason whatsoever other than I thought, oh, here's bad guys in face masks. Here's the Marvel Legends comic book style Doctor Doom and the Star Wars Black Series Jango Fett. So at the end of the day, it feels great to get a bad guy on the shelf. The first wave is very Joe heavy, which I don't mind. In the grand scheme of things, I feel like there's way more individual Joes than there were individual Cobra. So bringing in the bad guys slowly, oh, okay, I'm good. But I'm gonna need an army builder soon. I need some Cobra troops for my Joes to fight. I don't know why they did Destro before Cobra Commander. Maybe it's because, like Snake Eyes, he is very hard to mess up. Because Hasbro absolutely nailed it here. Yes, it's an update, it's a modernization, but they kept the flavor of that 80s look. Don't get me wrong, the rest of the figures have that flavor too, some more than others, but Destro, he is painfully 80s. I see people not liking the line because of the armor bits. I've come around on those, I'm okay with that. Some people don't like the sci-fi weapons, I just switch them out if I don't care for them. The gold, I'm probably with you there. I may try to do some repaints, that's why I need another case of these. But if you wanted to get into G.I. Joe, you maybe just wanted a pair, try it out, try Snake Eyes, and try Destro. You'll have a good guy, you'll have a bad guy, and then go from there. If you're impressed with that, give the other ones a shot. But me, I'm all in. Holy moly, I'm way in. I'm past the point of in. Oh, Hasbro. So if you enjoyed the review, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus if you're interested in seeing videos early or just in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.